Hey visionaries, Chris right here with Royal Realty Group, brokered by eXp Realty. Buying and selling a home can be a stressful process, but we are here to help you throughout the way. Feel free to reach out to us on all social media platforms at Royal Realty Group TX. Now enjoy the show with Cuff and Mo.
I've got to tell you, bro, what just happened. It's just been one of those days. You know what I mean? From start to finish. My daughter, who sleeps literally since 6 months old, right? She has slept through the night, no problem, easy going. And typically she sleeps till about anywhere between 9:30 and 11 o'clock. So, wifey and I, we get it in. We're working from home. We're able to get a lot of stuff done in the early part of the morning. Well, this morning she decides to get up between 4:45 and 5 o'clock. Doesn't cry, doesn't do anything. Hops out of her crib, meets me and wifey in the bed, and was like, "Yo, I'm here," and my day gets started. And that's cool. Like, I don't, normally what I try to do is spend some time and kind of where I'm at in this season of my life, right? Like the first 15 to 30 minutes of the day, like I'm going to spend it visualizing. I want to get back to my roots as it relates to that. And so needless to say, it was certainly challenging. Fast forward to the end of the day, we get to the part where we're about to do the interview, and obviously we're doing this remote through Zoom or whatever. And I've got this screw that I've had for whatever reason. It just ended up on my desk, and you just kind of play with it, fiddle with it, whatever. I threw it on my laptop, completely forgot about it, bro. Closed my laptop, it wouldn't close. I was like, why is it not closing? Pushed it down so that, it locked. Didn't think anything of it. Open it up. Screen is cracked. So I am doing this interview right now with a cracked screen. How about that? Welcome back to the TheVisionLab podcast. It is season 10, y'all. If you haven't been here with us for the first 9 seasons, where the hell you been? It's your boy Cuff, host of the TheVisionLab podcast, alongside of my main man, Mr. Ryan Mosley. Yo, we got a jam-packed show today. It's going to be straight entrepreneurship, have a vision, how to execute on your vision, and really how to think outside the box. Mo, who do we have on the show?
Cuff, today's guest is a native of Arlington, Texas. He is a serial entrepreneur. I mean, he's a jack of all trades for sure. And I'm sure the audience will find out here momentarily. Please welcome Cory Woodard to the TheVisionLab podcast.
Hey.
What up, my boy?
That?
Hey,
man.
We got some work to do, homie. You know what I mean? Like you. So let me give a quick backstory. So I've known the Woodard family for years, right? Your dad, my dad are really, really close friends. We're also members of the greatest fraternity in the world, Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated. And, obviously we've had a chance to know each other. We went to the same high school, albeit I'm a couple of years older than you. But, we all actually really grew up basically down the street and around the corner from one another.
Absolutely.
And so, I think really kind of where things started was golf, right? So we'll start there, but this is not a podcast about golf. This is a podcast about mindset, about growth mindset, about vision, executing a vision. But we were involved with, what was it, Pro Duffer Juniors? What was it called?
Yeah. You call us the Junior Pro Duffers, and then it ended up merging into the original First Tee chapter of Dallas.
First Tee. So you've really been making your stint on the pro circuit or trying to get into the pro circuit. Talk to us about what that's like, and really honestly, Cory, like what golf has done for you.
Yeah, golf is once again, to start off where golf starts me off in my life, that's kind of the crux where we are as far as how our families are so tight and where we know each other. So that alone says how important golf has been in my life and
Right.
the places that it's taken me. It's taken us full circle all the way back to here we are. We sit right here in your podcast talking about it.
Right.
So from there, started around 6, 7, 8 years old. Took a brief lesson from Tiger Woods from the Junior Pro Duffer / the First Tee organization when they were merging around the time of 96, 97. Took a brief lesson from Tiger when I was 11. Played golf in college at Texas Southern from 2005 to 2009. And then from there, did some things professionally, another business that I had for a little while. But my first professional endeavor as far as getting off into golf professionally was 2015. So I played for about a year and a half, 2015, 2016. And then kind of faded out for a little while because I had to put myself in an opportunity or put myself in a space where I could sponsor myself. And I definitely didn't think that would take as long as it took. I thought it may take a year, a couple of years at the most. It took 7 years, literally. So I took 7 years off of golf, which is taking me to where I am now and picking the sport back up in the last probably 3 months now and giving it the full stride that I wanted to give it way back in 15 or 16, just didn't have the finances to do so.
And it's interesting. So, we met, or I shouldn't say met, but we reconnected back in May of 2022. My parents actually host a golf tournament in Fort Worth in honor of my grandfather, the late Carl A. Robinson. And you came out and you participated. And like I said, it had been years, since I'd seen you, probably since you were in high school at the least. And we had a chance to reconnect, and it became very apparent how successful you become, not only on the track, but also in your business life as well. So we got to chopping it up and said, look, this is certainly an opportunity where we need to get together and let people hear some outside of the box thinking. But before we get there, talk to me about, as a young professional Black golfer, what does the circuit look like for people of our color?
Man, that's a great question. It really is. It looks like it pretty much looks right now on this podcast. There might be 3 of us, and then the rest of the tournament is filled with people who don't look like us, which is kind of indicative of what you see on the PGA Tour right now. There's not too many of us as far as in the comparative numbers to other racist nationalities, if that's what you want to call it. So for us, man, traveling in 2015 and 16 and doing the traveling that I've been doing now pretty much every single week, you just constantly see the same thing. It's, if there are some of us out there, it's a very minuscule amount, and we're the ones that are out there in every single tournament. So, kind of like the relationship that you and Mo were able to form, you find that oftentimes the minority golfers end up forming, relationships or end up making friends outside or off the course because of how rare you see the situation and pulling up out of town and understanding what it takes and what it costs to go from tournament to tournament, city to city. And then you see the guy there again, hey, man, I saw you last week.
Right.
You do the tournament next week. I mean, and just it becomes a brotherhood inside of a brotherhood, and just a camaraderie where everyone wants to see everyone do well, but to look over there and know that person more than likely is going through the same thing that you're going through in order for you to be there. It's very humbling.
So I'm glad you mentioned that. So, and obviously this is a growth mindset podcast, right? So we're all about the mind. There's a lot of different layers in what you just said that I want to quickly break down because I have a specific question that I want to ask you, right? So, you're trying to raise money to be on the tour. You can't go out there broke, right? So you got to hustle on the side, work full-time, whatever it is. Then B, you've got to travel to these specific, tournaments or whatever. Then you're playing in a tournament where there's people that don't really look like you, or there's a handful of people that look like you. So there's a lot that you have to kind of process, not to mention the game of golf itself is just already a mind fuck. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So this is a bit of a loaded question, but you can take it wherever you want with your answer. how important is it to have a very solid mindset in the arena that you're in?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great question. I mean, you play golf too, so they say golf is really about the inches that are right here in between your ears. This is where really golf is at. This is where it's won, and this is where it's lost. A lot of golfers have very similar or the same talent, but they don't have the same thing up here. And that's what really made Tiger Tiger. That's what makes some of the great golfers of the past, present, and the future. Is really the mental game. So when you talk about how stable and how crucial it is, it's just as crucial as making sure that your equipment is up to spec and making sure that everything else that you've got going on around you makes sense, because at the point in time that either things in your backdrop in your life, you don't have your backdrop in your life going on and you think got some things going on at the house, or let's just say if your finances are a little fickle, all these things are things that come in between your ears when you put that ball on the tee. The ball doesn't know that, your clubs don't know that, but the actions that you make towards it is what really makes the world a difference. So your mindset is everything, and how you control that, how you control your breathing, how you control your thoughts, and understanding what keeps your heart rate and what keeps your body at ease. You might take yourself back to a vacation that you had, with family members, or you might take yourself to your wedding or something. You always want to keep yourself in a very good mindset, something that always makes you happy, that almost takes you away from the golf course at some points in times, but can still keep you in the moment.
So that's hella deep. Obviously, I'm an amateur, or really a novice, if we're being frank, right? But the ability to separate yourself from every other competitor that's on the field is, I can take myself away from this, but still play the game, right?
Right.
That's super dope. Are there any techniques? Let me ask this: where and how did you learn that that's how you need to approach the game?
That's a lot of questions. So for me, a lot of what you're going to find out as we continue to go through this podcast, which is why I feel like I have a wealth of information, but I also have some scars on the front and back of my head from constantly bumping my head up against the wall, right? So
Facts.
a lot of it is truly just kind of it's really understanding you as a person, and kind of exactly where your talents can and can't go. So for me, I've had to learn that over the course of the years of playing good golf in college, not playing good rounds, or you got a good round going and you had a bad shot, or you started off bad but you finished extremely strong. Where was your mind at when you were going through all of those shots, when you were going through all of those processes? And if you can really start to pinpoint those things, once again, that's how you get to the point where, for lack of better words, you call it a mind fuck, but that's almost what you're doing to yourself as you're walking down the fairway. So how did I learn that? I learned it from trial and error, really, in getting out there myself and fully starting to understand myself. Okay, well, if I'm uncomfortable, what kind of shot do I normally hit? Or if I'm uncomfortable, what mindset am I in at that point in time? Okay, well, I hit this next shot. I hit it real close to the hole. My heart rate was down. What mindset was I in then? What was I thinking about? Right. So a lot of the things that I've had to do in life has been from trial and error. I haven't had too many golf lessons. I haven't really had a golf coach growing up. Everything has literally been get out there and do it. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, find out why it doesn't work and then find a way to make it work.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of people, obviously, they don't know you, right? Like, did you have an athletic background? And the reason why I asked this question is, I played football, right? Through
Absolutely.
College, whatever. And a really good close friend of mine who is almost a scratch golfer, he's probably an 8 or 9 handicap, right? Said, hey, listen, you already have the athleticism. You just need to tie the mental with the physical, right? So how much of your prowess is because of the fact that you were a former athlete?
A lot of it. And then, also the things that we have instilled in the house. We got some things that are instilled in us that happen behind closed doors that are that weigh heavily on the way that I'm able to operate me mentally and just stay focused.
Love it, man. Absolutely love it.
Got you. Before I switch gears, we have to say thank you to somebody who's been riding with us since day one. Take a quick listen, a quick watch, whatever platform you're using to check out this podcast, at our friend Edwina Brown at Blowing Smoke Cigar Lounge.
Hey everyone, Edwina Brown here, owner operator of Blowing Smoke Cigar Lounge. We're located at 1604 North Interstate 35E in Lancaster, Texas. We would love for you to come see us. We stand on the 3 C's, which are cigars, our community, and our culture. Cigars, we have over 300 SKUs in our humidor, and it's still growing. Come check it out, a massive humidor. We also love our culture here, which we're about customer service, as well as community, which is why we're excited to partner with the TheVisionLab podcast. So come check us out.
That's right. Thank you so much, EB and Jacoby and the whole squad there at Blowing Smoke Cigar Lounge for your support. Visionaries, we cannot stress to you enough. If you're anywhere in the southern part of the Metroplex, make sure you get to Blowing Smoke Cigar Lounge, 1604 North I-35 in Lancaster, Texas. Great humidor, great staff, great atmosphere. It is what you're looking for in a cigar lounge. So, Cory, this is my first time meeting you, and I'm gonna switch gears for a second, right?
Okay.
You know, we've all kind of got this cool little athlete connection when it comes to mindset and things like that. But from a business standpoint, right, and it's really relevant to what I got going on from a personal standpoint right now. How's your mindset changed or grown or evolved, whatever term you like to use, right? As you, like you said, you've got scars on the front and back. You know, how's your mindset changed or evolved as you kind of grown through things in the business world? Like you've experienced a lot of different industries. You've had your hands in a lot of different pots. I'm curious, so what type of lessons have you learned that you've been able to take with you on a daily basis from all the things that you've encountered?
Yeah, man, that's an awesome question. Wow, where do I start? So for me, I guess you could really say, as far as entrepreneurially and the things that I've kind of encountered over the course of time, a lot of it is, I keep saying, understanding self, right? If we talk about the business standpoint and we talk about really what you want to do from a business, a lot of what we're talking about doing nowadays is trying to find out the lowest start cost and trying to find out something that you love to do, right? So, you know, Ryan, y'all love to do, both Ryan, y'all love to do this podcast. There's things that you love to do. How do you monetize that? You know, and how do you go about making that, not even monetizing that if you just want to monetize it, but how do you really make it a business that you can see something that you scale and that you grow over the course of time? So my mindset, and me having my first business at 17 years old, an entertainment company, we had a music group here locally, and where I've grown to now at 35 years old, and now selling shoes on a mass level, is getting to the point in life where there's certain things that you do want to do, and you realize that there's certain ways to go about it, right? And so for me, when it comes to business, right, there's a lot that I look at on TV called CNBC. I watch the stock channel very much. You know, a lot of people watch Shark Tank and they watch some other things as well. But understanding what business that you're getting off into, and then seeing what other businesses that are potentially in that space and how long that they've been there, right, give you some type of outlook on scalability. Right. So that's what we talk about. So you'll get off into a business nowadays. It's like, okay, so let's say we monetized it. Okay, we monetized it. We're doing this business now. We're making money. We've got ABC business. We're making money doing it. How do we really make it scalable? Because we're all adults, right? We all have some type of money that we want to make. We all have a lifestyle that we want to live that costs X. And so when you talk about those things, a lot of that is understanding the business that you're getting off into, the scalability of it, and the potential revenues and what it costs to be in that space.
Who's been your biggest influence when it comes to just business, period? You strike me as a guy who's got a lot of layers to you. You've experienced a lot, clearly. Who's been your biggest influence?
Yeah, that's a great question. When it comes to entrepreneurially, I can't remember his name right. I don't want to mispronounce it, but there's a guy over in Africa who's really one of the more richer African American, I guess you call them African actually, or Black people in the world, who got money off of telecom and got money off of some other industries that you find are very consistent with how he's a multi-billionaire, how billionaires got their money. So there's certain industries that they all kind of operate in. So for me, I did a lot of research on him in college, and that was what really kind of inspired me to try and get in some of those spaces that he's in. And once again, understanding the scalability. Okay, well, you see these billionaires, they're all in these very similar spaces. Why is that?
Yeah, I love it. I know who you're talking about. I don't remember who he is, but
pull his name up.
you have me thinking about Mo. We did an episode with Anthony Trucks in season 4. Okay, episode 44, I believe, is what it was.
Shout out to Anthony Trucks.
Yeah, AT, you're my guy. So you've developed your mindset over trial and error, hitting your head against the wall, front and back, like you mentioned before. But at the same time, I'm imagining, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, we call ourselves the Vision Lab for a reason. We want people to be able to see into the future the best version of themselves, right? But in order to do that, you're going to have to block everything out and get in your lab, right? Get hunkered down. I'm not going to fool with you, wifey. I'm not going to fool with you, kids. I'm not going to fool with you, husband. I'm not going to fool with you, whatever. Like, I'm going to get locked in for a period of time. And so I understand kind of figuring things out on the course. I understand figuring things out during business. But has there been a time in your life, Cory, where you've hunkered down and shut the world out and just focus on, achieving your goals, dreams, and aspirations?
Absolutely. The first time that I really did that was when I became a farmer's insurance agent. So that's been many moons ago. That's almost 11 years ago now. So on record, someone might look at this who's, I'd like for someone to look it up, but I believe I am the youngest African-American insurance agency owner ever in the history of farmers insurance, period. Company's been around since the early 1900s. Seriously. So at the agency at 24, that changed my life. That changed how my mindset worked. That changed how I operate inside and outside of business. It changed hiring employees. It changed how I look at people, how you look at hiring talent. I learned how to headhunt and look for talent that way. So that business put me in a situation where I had to block everything out around me, because I'm now 24 years old trying to talk to people who are now our age, right? 35, 40, 45 years old about insurance. I'm 24. I haven't paid an insurance premium still to that day, but I'm trying to talk to you about your insurance premium and saving you some money, right? So that was a period in time in my life, literally, where I blocked everything out. And my family can say that they know this as well, right? So I blocked my family out. I blocked, the woman I was with at the time, blocked that out, and had literally lived and stayed in the office to understand the material down to a T, to where when I'm sitting across from you like this, and we're really talking about you bringing your insurance policies over to me, you're 100% comfortable with coming over to me, knowing that this guy is, I'm gonna have a kid his age, right? So that business and how I had to learn the business extremely quickly is something that I've been able to take away from that now at 35 years old in multiple other businesses that I've had since, and being able to say, okay, well, I've got this period of time that I'm going to need to understand this industry down to a T. It's time to lock down. It's time to get focused. It's time to do those things that I recall me doing, at the age of 24, way back in farmers, and understanding not only the system, but just understanding the entire process. And that's really what it is. You got to fall in love with the process and understand your systems.
I absolutely love your answer. And I want to pose a 2-part question to you, because we have people that listen to the show that are young, they're mid-20s, and we have people that are seasoned, right? Seasoned professionals. But you really hit on something like major, and I don't want anybody to miss it, right? It's the ability, no matter what end of the spectrum that you're on, to get into the lab and get laser focused on what you want to do, right? But you also talked about, you did your research, looking at CSNBC or MSNBC and the stock market, understanding trends, understanding markets, right? And how those markets move, And is there any validity to this, right? So a lot of times you have people that are looking to become an entrepreneur or even just level up in their current job, right? There's nothing wrong with having a W-2. Like, we have to have people like that. I still have a W-2, you know what I mean? But if you want to level up, there's a certain level of commitment that you just talked about. And I'd like for you to kind of expand on that from the standpoint of whether you're looking to start your own business and become an entrepreneur, or if you're looking to, just level up your game in your own current, job. I don't care if you're a truck driver, a trash, sanitation crew worker, whatever. Like, we all have, there's levels to this, right? But it's a certain mentality that you've had. So talk about that for us.
Yeah, sure. I mean, man, I'm telling you, it's just hunkering down and focusing, right? I mean, you talked about it when you talked about blocking people out and blocking those things out. For some people, it may be extremely difficult to do that. I mean, I consider it to be a must, right? If your loved ones and the good ones around you and whatnot don't understand that it's time for you to go ahead and get off in this lane over here and do what you need to do for the betterment of everyone around you, that's a problem in itself. I mean, we could do a whole nother episode on that, but so right, it's so. I'm gonna get me off into it. So it's just
come on with it, bro. Hey, listen, we uncensored. Let's go.
Those are people you don't need in your circle.
We have the TheVisionLab. Hey, we know we touched the nerve. Go ahead and exercise. Come on now.
Sir.
Those are people you don't need in your circle, man. If you don't, okay, we're getting real. So if it's time for you to get in your lane, in order for you to be able to get in your bag, and you have people that are hindering you from doing so, if you're trying to be a better sanitation person, if you're trying to level up in the current business that you own, or even if you're thinking about, okay, I got a W-2, but I want a 1099, so if you have people around you who are not supportive of that, if indeed you've done your research, your due diligence, and you're ready to move ahead, and those are people that you have to block out. That's the start, okay? But to move forward, it's once again doing your research, understanding self, and then from there understanding your industry and what it really takes. I mean, so we could throw something random out there. Okay, so we'll just go back to golf because I can relate that very easily, right? So there's a lot of hours that need to be had and that I need to practice because I sat out for 7 years. I'm trying to catch up, right? So if I'm going out there and I'm waking up at 6 and I'm coming home at 10, and my old lady she got an issue with it, thinking that I'm either doing some things or not in the space in which I need to. First of all, that's not going to be good for my mental because I don't have everything done at the home, but also it's not putting you in a position in which you actually can strive. You need everybody behind you. You need anyone that's in your corner on board with what you have going on because they're part of your tailwind.
Yes, sir. Come on.
If not, they're part of your headwind. Which one do you want?
Come on now.
Right. So
hey, Mo, there it is right there. Tailwind or headwind.
Yeah, who you want? You want people in your corner that are your tailwind. And it's not yes men or yes women, but it's people who understand what you got going on. They move out the way. So all of my people understand that, right? And so that's you understanding you. That's you understanding what it takes. And then you can't be scared to put in the time. Regardless of what people see, okay, so I haven't been on social media that much in the last probably 5, 6, 7 years. I pay attention to certain things that I want to pay attention to because it keeps me focused on the things in which I want to be focused on, right? So a lot of people see what's going on, or they may see their favorite artist or entertainer or sports person or public figure or whoever being successful in doing what they're doing, but they're not understanding the work that they're having to put in behind the scenes. None of this happens overnight. And you really got to, I mean, I'll put it to you like this, right? So anything you treat like a part-time job is going to pay you like a part-time job. You treat it like a full-time job, it's going to pay you like a full-time job. So you have to have the understanding that you're going to have to put in, or the other saying is, would you rather work 80 hours for yourself or 40 hours for someone else, right? So there's a lot of different sayings that help you with that mindset and understanding what you need to do to hunker down. So for me, it's getting away from people, getting away from the phone, right? And doing whatever it is that you need to do to start to process the information that you need to move forward. We have smartphones in our hands, but we act dumb. It just doesn't make any sense to me.
Wow. Wow. Come on, C-Dub.
That was a gem right there. We have
Yeah.
smartphones in our hands, but we act dumb. I
But
love
we
it. I
acting
love
dumb.
it.
Yeah.
We should all be
Hey,
some type of smart. Like we hold smart. Why is it called a smartphone?
and
No,
it's
I'm
the
just
information age yet. We don't want to tap into the information.
right. So all that
You know what I
information
mean?
is there. And I encourage, for me having these scars on the front and the back, I encourage you to seek the information. Do not bump your head up against the wall. Right? You might not have as many chances to get it wrong. I've had a lot of chances to get it wrong and get it right. You might only have a couple of chances, and that's it, right? So it's definitely important, the information that's accessible nowadays at our thumbs, for you to really be able to hone in and for you to be able to do whatever it is that you're trying to do, either if it's on a W-2 level, if it's on a creating a 1099 level, or if you're trying to get another comma on your 1099.
So, hey, I love where we are. Like, right? I love the energy because this is what we're after. And if you're here at this part of the episode, first and foremost, thank you very much for your love and your support. We encourage you guys to follow us on all social media platforms. We're at the TheVisionLab Podcast, as well as our YouTube page. Make sure you hit that like button and subscribe button. Now, Cory, one of the things that I've heard you say repeatedly through this episode is what I call, you always talk about yourself and knowing yourself, right? I call that doing a self-inventory.
Okay.
Right? You got to know who you are. You got to know your strengths, your weaknesses, your deficiencies, etc. In order for you to get to where you want to go. At what point, or maybe it was in your lab, right? Maybe it was when you were actually doing what you were doing. But how important is it to take a self-inventory of who you are and where you currently are to get to where you want to go?
Oh man, that's very important. I'll drop you with another one of my sayings, right? So you never know what someone thinks about themselves when they brush their teeth in the mirror. Right? So that goes to your self-inventory check. That goes directly to your self-inventory check. We all do this in the mirror in the morning, and we're self-inventory checking. From the self-inventory check standpoint, it's I just keep saying it's a lot about knowing yourself at some age, right? That's you'll say people get to a certain age, they say they're stuck in their ways. Well, a lot of it's just because they know themselves. At what age do you actually be able to get to know yourself? Is it 25? Is it 30? Is it 35? Is it 40, whatever age it is, right? At what age do you really get to know you know what you're going to do before you do it, right? Kind of thing.
That is extremely I don't know what you're saying. Yeah, that's the word, profound, right? It's a high level of introspection. It's really deep on multiple levels. Let me ask you this, Cory, right? Because this being the Vision Lab, you say you started owning businesses when you're like 17 years old.
Yeah.
When you started off on this track in the business world, right? What was the original or initial vision that you had for yourself? Like we all, want to live a certain type of lifestyle, whatnot, but like, what did you envision for yourself once you got started?
And I still have this same vision. I want to own a conglomerate, right? And that's probably not the actual technical term, because that basically says that you own a collection of large size companies. That'd be great. But what I really want is a collection of my own businesses that I own. Right. That's been the vision since we were young. You get this business going, let's do another one. Get those two going, let's do another one. All right. They talk about, the average multimillionaire has 7 streams of revenue.
Yes, I was waiting for an opportunity to chime in, right? I was waiting for an opportunity to chime in. And that's exactly right. The average millionaire has 7 multiple streams of income.
Absolutely.
So it doesn't have to be just one specific thing. So I didn't want to interrupt, but you struck a nerve. Yeah,
man. That's what started for me, Mo. Honestly, it's way back then, doing it then, and knowing what the vision was. And this vision's been the idea has been playing into me from my dad. I'm just going to be honest. Growing up, so he worked for IBM, I believe, for 32 or 33 years. I want to make sure I put some respect on the years. But through that entire time, I always remember him telling both my brother and I, at some point in time, I'm working this much because I want for y'all to have the opportunity to own your own business. It may not happen when you're young. It may not happen while I'm here on earth, but I'm putting in these 30 something years so you don't have to put in these 30 something years. Right. So,
Man,
right. So
that is
that's part of the mind. So it's always been there for me. And then I've had the opportunity to actually execute on that. And so that's where I am now. I still want that to this very day. I'm still trying to build that. At one point in time, I was up to 4 streams of revenue. About 4 years ago now, before the pandemic, it's up to about 4 streams of revenue. And it was hard to hold on to some of them because I'm a DIY kind of person. So I want my hands in everything and doing everything myself. And I need to get better at that. If you ask me kind of what I'm maybe not that good at, it's allowing others to do the things that I want to do myself.
delegating.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
Hey, quick shout out to Jerry.
Yeah, absolutely. No, yeah. Shout out.
It's funny you mentioned the your dad saying I'm putting in these 32 or 33 years so you guys don't have to. And I feel like just like on a personal level, like I'm getting ready to make a huge leap in my life in order like to change the change the trajectory of like where my bloodline's going. And like I told Cuff the other day, it was just like, stuff keeps kind of getting presented to me. And I'm at the spot now where it's like, if not now, when, right? Like, okay, the worst you can do, fall flat on your face, but okay, at least you tried, as opposed to waking up when you're, 60-something years old and be like, man, what if I'd actually taken the step to actually make it happen? And so
right.
I'm at the point now, like I'm getting ready to make a major move, and I mean I'm going to be 1,000 miles an hour every single day as soon as that move is official. So I appreciate the sentiment, right? Like putting the time in and multiple streams of income. Like I'm literally about to embark on that trail in a hot second.
Yeah. I'm telling you, the only thing I can encourage to everybody, find a way to fall in love with the process. No one's process is the same. You may be in the same business, right? But you could be in the same business as me, but your process might not be the same in order for us to both get the same outcome. You have to find out what the process is, bro. I'm talking fall in love with it, seriously. And you do that, right? It's however it is that you get down in life and however it is that you work in that work. That's what makes people fall in love with the process. If you can work and you listen to your favorite music, you got something going in the background, or you can be somewhere remote, it's just whatever it is that gets you off into that mode that makes working easy, almost makes it fun. That's what I encourage you to follow up that process.
Yo, I love what you said. Work in the work. I don't know if you realize you said that, but that's a gem right there. You know what I mean? Like work in your work. You've talked about your support system. The fact that you were able to block family members out, your girl out, so on and so forth. Like, how important is it to have a supportive community? I'm going to call it community because we're all a part of tribes, right? So
right.
How important is it to have a solid community in the background?
No, it's extremely important, right? So they talk about you having your business is your baby. Well, I don't have kids. I know you got kids. Mo, do you have kids?
Yeah, I got a soon-to-be 4-year-old.
Okay, all right. So then y'all can relate to, right? You can relate to a business being your baby, right? So when you talk about the people that are around you, you don't want to have anybody around you that's not going to take care of your child or look after your child the way in which you would want your child looked after. Right. So it's 100%. It's the same with your business. Right. So it's when you have people around you, right? And you're talking about delegating tasks and stuff like that. It's, this is your baby and you have to treat it as such. You got to be careful with what you delegate and who you delegate it to, and bringing people around you and, people potentially seeing the books or understanding the inner workings of your business. Just all those things are important.
You're talking about the business, right? And when we had a conversation in May or April, whenever it was, and when I learned about what you're doing, I thought it was like, it's right in front of us. You know what I'm saying? It's right there, and you're taking advantage of the opportunity. So let's talk about where Cory Woodard is today in 2022 and the business that you're commencing, right? So I'm going to let you tell our audience what you do.
Yeah, sure. So pandemic hit. So as of the last 3 years, I've been reselling shoes on a large bulk level. sell hundreds of shoes every single month. So I've been doing that now for, I guess we're coming up on about 3 years here in a couple of months. Before that, I was helping out the family business Partake. Yeah, doing that business, doing excellent. So now I'm still taking care of that as far as the shoe business. But the shoe business, like I told you, I was looking for something to stabilize me that would be able to sponsor me, where I could basically pay for myself to play golf. So in the last 3.5 months, I've segued that income and segued that business off into what I want to be my next stream of revenue, which is now playing golf professionally. So I have every intent to continue to pursue it until I'm 40 years old. So I got 5 years of run out right now until I have to be concerned about, okay, maybe you need to look at doing something else. But to delve deeper in it, now we can have a very deep discussion. What are you actually doing, right? So now what I'm actually doing is creating my own clothing company, because I'm going to go out on the golf course and wear my own clothing brand.
Come on now.
In my own clothing brand is going to have my own businesses on it. So now when I go out and play golf, and there's no knock to getting a larger corporation, I'm not going to name any corporations, but golf players have some here on this collar, some here on this collar, some on their sleeves, something on their chest, right? So I have enough businesses and family businesses around me. We may look at putting TheVisionLab on the sleeve.
Come on with it, baby. Come on.
Come on, man. Hey, I think I speak for my partner and say you got to go ahead for that one.
But I'm not just talking, right? So this is what about owning everything of your own is. I don't have to sit there and say, okay, well, yeah, Ryan, so I'm gonna talk to somebody and we're gonna look at getting this done. It can happen right here between the three of us, because I own everything that I'm doing, all the way down to not the actual shirt, because that'll be made from a shirt company who's not going to have a brand on there, right? So I'll have my own shirt brand, I'll have my own clothing brand that'll be able to be sold, that will then have my own companies on it, or friend and family members' companies on it as well, which gives them marketing, right? Of companies that I either own a share of, or my family, my friends own it. That's fine. So what's happening is now you have the exposure that's about to take place on the golf course for me, inevitably at the latest by January, TV exposure and media exposure. So now when I get this exposure, I've got my own clothing brand. I'm promoting my other brands that have something to do with me. So I got some shoes here in the background, selling shoes, and I create custom. I'm creating custom diamond jewelry as well. So that'll be one of my other companies, right? So
I need to holler at you about that. I got a 12-year-old that's turning 13, and she's about to get blessed by daddy when she turns 13. So we need to, chop that up.
Yeah, and that's cool. All day, we got it. You're done. That's how easy that is, So that's where I'm at right now. So I'm getting the trademarks for these companies. I wish I could say the names for them, but I don't own my trademarks yet, so I'm not gonna get to saying things. But that's the idea as far as what's going on now. So as I move forward, right, we get back to all the things that we're talking about. We're getting back to it. So now we talk about, okay, well, how are you getting your multiple streams of revenue? Well, we still got the shoe business doing its thing. We're making money on the golf course for playing golf, but now we're talking about making money off the golf course with the clothing brand. Then we're talking about making money off the golf course with the clothing brand, with the companies that I actually own on the shirt as well.
And you left out marketing. You left out, you could sell whatever inventory is on your person, right?
Exactly. And then the idea, actually, now I'll round it to this before I start giving too much of what's going on. The idea also then is to, which is not sold in stores, this will be a tour style shirt. So look at your shirt right now, right? So then let's say we all three go play golf, right? We're going to go out there, and we're not just going to have a Nike golf shirt on, Adidas, Under Armour, Puma. I'll try to name something to give everybody a little something. But we're actually going to have our own clothes on, and it's going to look like a tour shirt, right? So I'm going to sell my shirt as a tour style shirt. And then getting back to, meeting other people as far as other minorities within the golf as well. I've got a couple other buddies who own trucking companies. I got a couple other buddies who own their own businesses and play golf as well. So now we'll have their edition of shirts. So when they want to have their edition, it doesn't have to have my companies on it. It's going to have their companies on it so they can promote their companies. Now, when you come to the website to buy the golf shirt, you can buy the Cuffy edition, you can buy the Mo edition, you can buy the Woodard edition, and you can support all these different people. But you know what you're supporting as well. You're supporting us as a golfer, but you're also supporting us as an entrepreneur.
Fire.
Yeah, bro. So that's where I'm at right now.
It's is there anything like that in the market now?
Nah, hell no. No. So oftentimes anything that I do, I really try and do something that either hasn't been done or it's rarely done. And I got family members, I don't know their name, but I got family members around who always tell me that I'm crazy, or, you know, once again, I always swim upstream and whatnot. But right, the idea itself is something that has a lot of potential to really carry forward, right? And you think about the brand, then you really get out there and there's other minority golfers, or you want to think about, okay, now we want to sponsor golfers in college, right? Golfers in college can now wear other brands. They can be sponsored by other people due to this NIL and stuff like that, right? That's where I'm at with it, man.
The part that I am loving about this conversation, and Cuff knows I'm a proponent of it, right? Like, my whole thing for the year has been like, I'm trying to get to uncharted territory. And when you're trying to do something big, right, like, you got to be out there on the edge a little bit. You got, you know, it's like you said, family members telling you swimming upstream, like, you got to be willing to go where no one else is willing to go. And you got to be willing to step out there where no one else is willing to step out there. And I love the fact that, like, clearly you've thought a lot of this out, but the fact that, like, no, I'm actually going to take action towards trying to make this happen. That's the part that I am really, really digging about this. And I appreciate you for actually putting that into motion.
And I love the fact that you said people are calling you crazy, right? Because it takes the crazy to make things happen. We would not be on this computer having this interview because we wouldn't have electricity if it weren't for somebody that was crazy. You know what I mean? Like, it literally is that type of mindset and mentality to create something new.
Yeah. I mean, you'll hear me quote Jay-Z a little bit more than often for obvious reasons, right? You know, because he backs the family cookie company. But, you know, everyone knows about the raps that he said, where he said his uncle said, you know, you can't sell that many records. This is his uncle telling them that, right? So, like I said, without me saying any names or whatever, I've had people that close to me tell me that you're crazy, or no, you can't do that, or why would you go about doing it that way? And I still went and did it. It made it work, right? So if I could encourage anything, right, it's you're gonna have something in your heart and your mind and your soul that you want to go do. And if you really went out and did your due diligence and you did your work, there shouldn't be not a damn person who can stop you. It shouldn't be no one inside your house. It shouldn't be no one not blood related to you, not no one on social media who want to cut you down. There shouldn't be one person other than you who can stop you from doing what you want to do. That's just real talk.
And I want to make sure that people understand what you're saying. You got to do the work first. You can't say, oh, I got this idea, you know, I'm going to put this label on this cup and it's going to blow up.
Right.
Okay. Well, how do you know that? Where are you going to get your, like, you got to put in the work. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? You
got to be ready to answer the 1,000,001 question, and you should be able to. Why? Because you have a smartphone in your hand. Shit, man.
Let's go. I love it, man. Listen, I can't tell you how proud I am of you, brother. Like, I'm getting energized. I'm getting refueled just through this conversation. I want to give you an opportunity real quick. I know you're not on social a lot, but for anyone that wants to get a hold of you, that wants to learn more about the businesses, that wants to watch you on the tour, that wants to maybe even purchase shoes from you, right?
Right.
How can they get a hold of Cory Woodard?
No, that's a great question, man. I appreciate that. So I will be getting a little bit more on social media because I have to promote my brands naturally so before someone else tries to promote it for you. So you can catch me on Instagram at Golf for Thought. You know, so you know. Oh,
love it.
Right.
Say it one more time.
Instead of food for thought, right? It's Golf for Thought. So GOLFORETHOUGHT, Golf for Thought.
All across all social media platforms, right?
That's just across Instagram. I'm not on any of the other social media platforms, and you can catch me just, Cory Woodard out on Facebook.
Got it, man.
Yeah. Well, Cup, I think we've reached that part of the interview. Am I wrong?
Yeah, man, I think we have a big announcement. What do you think?
Yes, we do have a big announcement. So we had a meeting, I don't know, a couple months ago, and we got schedules coordinated, and things just kind of came to be, and we connected the dots, and we now have a new sponsor for the Land the Plane here at TVLP. Shout out to Tim and the entire squad at Sagamore Spirits.
Let's go.
If you are a fan of rye, we promise you will not be disappointed. The bottle's distinct, the label's distinct. We drink it for a reason. Make sure you find your nearest retailer to get Sagamore Spirits rye. Or hey, you might bump into Tim out at your local liquor store, and by all means, he'll make sure you're taken care of. Make sure you get the website at Sagamore Spirits, everything on Instagram, Facebook, Sagamore Spirits. Again, thank you guys so much for all your support. Thank you, Tim. We appreciate you. We look forward to doing all kind of fun things with you from a partnership standpoint. And this is the first official landing the plane featuring Sagamore Spirits.
Okay. Yeah, well, and I got to say this, man. We're starting off season 10, with a bang. We've had Tim on the show, you know what I mean? And first of all, dropped a ton of gems, ton of knowledge. So anyone that hasn't had the opportunity to listen to that episode, go back, check it out. We're on Instagram. We're on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, you name it, right? Y'all know where we are. But this is fire. I'm telling you right now, we would not have gotten the sponsorship if we didn't believe in the product. Anyone that comes on the show, anyone that is a sponsor of the show, we 100% believe in it. So make sure you stop by your local liquor store and ask for Sagamore Rye, Sagamore Spirit Rye, and if they don't have it, bug them to death. Make sure they get it. So it's on you, P.
Absolutely. That being said, so Cory, we have a segment at the end of the show we call Landing the Plane. There are no right or wrong answers. It's just however it is you feel in the moment, right?
Okay.
Hold on. Can we do a virtual toast?
Oh, you are absolutely right. Let me open my bottle. You are absolutely right.
Yeah. Looks like you've been in that bottle a little bit, bro.
Yeah.
This is one of the previous ones that we had gotten from our partner. So don't judge me. I ain't gonna expose somebody else on the show.
No judging. You know how I get down.
Absolutely.
Right.
So cheers to everybody, and thanks again to Sagamore Spirits for sure.
Absolutely. Cheers to Sagamore.
So that's it, Cory. It's
give
you.
Me some of that.
Yeah, we'll make sure you get taken care of. It's you. There is a round table. There are 5 other seats. You get to have whoever you want at your table. The only stipulation is that you cannot have God or whatever religious entity that you believe in at your table. Outside of that, dead or alive, who do you want?
Wow. Goodness. Man, I told you, y'all was gonna hear me talk about Jay-Z. My life is different because of this man, so that's already understood, right? So that's one seat gone. I'd probably say Malcolm X.
Do you want Malcolm or you want Red at the table?
I'll go with Malcolm. So that's 2. I got 3 more. I want Oprah sitting at the table. I want Steve Jobs sitting at the table. And I'd probably say Henry Ford.
So we got Jay-Z, Oprah, Malcolm X, Steve Jobs, and Henry Ford. What would be your first question to him?
What was one of the first things that you did in your life that was that it? What if it was your first deal? If you're talking to Jay, if it was your first deal, what was it? What that made things different? Was it the Rockaware? Was it the Armadale? You talked to Oprah. Same thing. What made you get off into a space where you knew eventually you started making enough bread to where you knew a long time ago you were gonna have Oprah Winfrey Network, right? Henry Ford, the same things, like what got you in the space where, everyone's driving cars now? Like
well, Henry Ford is easy. He was never going to be told no.
I love that.
He was never going to be told no. If you
Love
told him no, he'd say, go back to the shop and figure it out. Period.
So not accepting no as an answer. I can understand that. I can kind of relate to that. You ain't finna tell me no if I've already put my mind to it. It doesn't make sense, right? So that then you talk about Steve Jobs, just from a tech standpoint, right? And just being able to pick someone's mind like that. Once again, right, this man's passed away, but he's changed all our lives. We have smartphones in our hands, right? So just picking that person's mind and understanding, if you could ask him some questions, okay, he passed away, but where did you see things going, in the future, if you really could have potentially lived longer, right? What are maybe some of the things that he didn't get to do? If there's something I'm scared of, I'm just being real. If there's something, and it goes back to what Mo said a little bit earlier. He talking about jumping off the porch and just getting himself into a position where it's gonna get real. I'm gonna be up. I'm gonna be burning the midnight oil. I'm gonna be up late hours. I'm gonna be working hard. I'm gonna be going 1,000 miles an hour. It's just what really fuels that, right? And then what really is the thing that kind of makes people think in those spaces, man. It's pretty interesting, man. I think those three people, and then we're in a time of power with things are going with women and a powerful time for women. So I said that's why having Oprah sitting at the table and talking to Oprah, and then everybody else, man, just kind of we went through them.
Man, you said something, and honestly, it's what makes a person want to do it, man. I gotta look at it from the standpoint of, and we all have this entrepreneurial spirit. Like I can't wait till we all actually get to sit down and really chop it up with each other like in person. But I look at it from a standpoint of you can be on the proverbial wheel forever, and like I said, that's for some people, right? But we've all got a gift, we've all got a certain talent, and it's my thing now is like I'm gonna try to maximize it to whatever level it's gonna take me to. And I'm gonna try to see it all the way through. Like I'm gonna try to squeeze all the juice out the orange. Like we only get to do this one time. So
Yes,
just sitting on the hamster wheel forever it's time out for that, man. Like if you're gonna go for it, like go for the whole ball of wax. Like why not?
Right. But the interesting thing about that, right? You're 100% right. And the fear, the trepidation, first and foremost, is oftentimes a fallacy. Secondly, if you do fall on your face, there's other jobs. There's no shortage of jobs, period. So you can get what you want. I'm a big proponent. Set yourself up. A, do your research. B, make sure that you're set up for a year's worth of true grinding, right? You should have enough saved up to pay your mortgage for a year, to pay your cell phone for a year, and so on and so forth. Add your bills up, find out what that costs, get that stacked up, and then you're talking about, financial freedom, right? Now, albeit you're not free but for 12 months, but you're free to go pursue your dream and make it into a reality. But you better hit that fucking, ground floor running. You know what I mean? But that's what this show is about, man. Like, to inspire people to become the best version of themselves. I can't remember the quote, but it's something to the effect of like, we were not designed to go work 40 hours a week for 40 years for no retirement or a little retirement and be broke and then pass away. Like that's not what you want out of your life. If you have to have a W-2, do your thing until you stack up enough or until you feel like you can fly the bird's nest, right? And go make your dreams come a reality. But you're gonna have to work both simultaneously in order to make it work. And if entrepreneurship is not your thing, that's cool too, right? If you just want to level up, or if you're cool with staying where you are, no worries, right? But you can enhance your quality of life. And I think that's really what our show is all about.
Absolutely. And there's ways of, leveling up in life and not necessarily doing anything entrepreneurially. I mean, one of the multiple streams of revenue that you need to focus on, it could be all different other types of businesses or whatever. One of them needs to be in the stream of residual income. One of them needs to be in the stream or in the area of passive income. So you need one be passive and one be residual.
Wow.
Right. And if you have both of those, you can still have your W-2. Right. You don't necessarily have to get out here and then jump off into these. I tell my brother, getting your sea legs, you don't have to jump off into these waters. It's not for everyone. I'll let people know that being a career entrepreneur, it's not. But leveling up in life, that's something that you can do with, without having to worry about, okay, I got to quit my job to go level up. No, you don't. There's other ways to go about it. But like I said, it has to be in the form of closer to a residual and a passive income, so it doesn't take too much of your time away if indeed you're going to keep dedicating that 40 hours at the very least to your job. I mean, salarized positions now, they want more than 40 hours out of you.
Sometimes they do, for sure. Well, it's season 10. You're opening up season 10, and I couldn't be more delighted, to have you opening up season 10. We've been doing this for 4 years. We're tremendously honored and blessed to have you on the show. In the spirit of that, Cory, if you were a book, what would be your title?
Cory Woodard. Cory Woodard, The Life of the Career Entrepreneur.
Okay.
Life of a Career Entrepreneur. I'll take that. I'll always be an entrepreneur. I may or may not make it in golf. I am. But if it doesn't ever happen, I'll always be an entrepreneur. Always. So Cory, The Life of a Career Entrepreneur.
So this season, we're really going to press in on different aspects of vision, different aspects of mindset, right? What's the long-term vision for Cory Woodard?
Yeah, that's a great question. Ultimately, I just want to help people. I know what my talents are. My God-given talent is playing golf, and the other one really is helping people. Now, not to be too long-winded, Maslow's hierarchy of needs says that you really can't help anyone until you reach self-actualization, which is at the top of his pyramid, right? So, which really implies that you can't help others until you help yourself.
Speak.
Right. So, it's came to the point where I can help myself now. So I want to get to what my other God-given talent is. I want to help people, bro. So it's funny you asked that, and it's funny I got this picture right here behind my head, man. Everything seeming to relate to everything. So I want to help people not only reach whatever their dreams are, I want to help people also become entrepreneurs. But then what I really want to do is I want to go back and I want to build homes in Africa.
Wow.
So I went to school in Kenya for a whole semester. I studied abroad in the fall of 2007. I went to school in Nairobi, Kenya. I got this painting right there from off the coast of Mombasa, Kenya. It's the Maasai jumping ritual. That's what they're doing. I saw something there in 2007 that I had never seen in my life that changed my life. Why I still had that picture. I got done rafting the Nile. Class 5 rapids, damn near died, killed myself. Shouldn't even went to that. Had a great time though. And we get on this bus. And the bus is set to take us kind of back to the village that we're staying in and so on and so forth. So it takes you down this road. As it takes you down this road, it takes you past a village that's right next to the Nile River. These people are living in dung huts, if you know what I mean by, so their houses are put together by cow dung, mud, and straw. Okay. We're driving through the village in this bus. I saw a kid, Mo and Cuff, I saw a kid run out of his dung hut with the brightest smile and the most joyful and playful attitude running after the bus that I ever saw in my life. Now, I've been on vacation in some very nice places. I've seen a lot of things. And at that point in time, I've pretty much been halfway around the world at 20 years old. And I felt like I had never experienced or even been that happy in my life that this kid is who's living in this dung hut, and I got anything that I can't ask for nothing else over here.
Man.
Right. And I've told my parents about that. I've told a lot of people about that. That's not just a BS story. That was an aha moment for me, and I stand on that in life, right? So what's the end game? We're gonna build houses in Africa. We're going back home.
Wow.
So that's
that's poignant, bro. That's hella poignant. You know what I mean? You know, as great as that story is, and we could stay there for a minute, right? Because a lot of us don't recognize the joy that is in life because we're so consumed with trying to live life. You know what I mean?
right.
But I want to bring it back.
Trying to get to that lifestyle that you want to have.
100%. Since this is a Vision Lab, you don't know this, but we have a magical time machine, Cory.
Okay.
What advice would the 35-year-old version of yourself, so Cory Woodard today, what advice would you be giving yourself from 5 years ago? So you're 30 years old. You're looking back and you're telling yourself, what advice would you give yourself?
You know, I keep telling you, great question. I love that question. So I've asked that question to my mentors, right, in order for me to get something from them. And when I was in college, and then just literally 2 years ago, I asked that from another one of my mentors who had turned 70. And I asked him, what would your 70-year-old self tell your 35-year-old self, right? That's what I asked him. So to answer your question, what will my 35-year-old self tell my 30-year-old self? Just keep going. That's it, bro. Just keep going. I know in those 5 years that you're talking about, I've been through a whole lot, right? Ups and downs, and then a lot up in those 5 years. So I would have simply just told myself, bro, I'd have smiled at myself, keep going, bro. Just, you know what I'm saying? Where you think you're going to go, where you want to get, what you want to do, I just keep going.
I love it. I love it. And you know, a lot of people have heard that type or that phrasing of that question.
Right.
So we're going to double down and we're going to take it a step further.
Okay.
Now I'm going to make you 40.
Okay.
Okay. So you're 5 years older. What advice is that Cory Woodard? What advice is he telling you today?
No days off. That's it. Just no days off. The more I continue to practice Cuff, the more I continue to do the things that I know I need to be doing at this point in time for me to get better, right? That's it. That's it.
You know, I've said this on the show before, Mo. I'll say it again. The beauty about doing these and posting these on YouTube is that, Cory, you're going to have an opportunity 5 years from now to say, oh, shit, I remember 5 years ago or about 5 years ago, I did this interview on the Vision Lab. You know what I mean? And you're going to – those are words of accountability. You know what I mean? So now you've got an anchor. You feel me? You got an anchor so you can come back and look and say, did I take no days off? So that's why I love doing what we do, man. I love the fact that we are so blessed with the technology that allows us to have this type of conversation that's full of enrichment, that's full of energy, that's full of, you know, positivity and helping people, you know, who may be stuck or in a rut and just trying to get over it. And I'm hoping that, you know, our goal on this show is for people to hear this and hear your words. And this is no disrespect, but as a regular person, you know what I'm saying? Like,
absolutely.
Not a Kanye West, not a Diddy, not a Steve Jobs. You know what I mean? Like someone that's tangible, that's out here doing it, that they can be inspired. And so I'm humbled. I'm utterly humbled. I'm inspired. I'm enriched with the conversation, bro. Thank you.
I appreciate it, man. This is a wonderful platform, man. You're talking about 10 seasons, man. A lot of people don't do anything for 10 years, maybe other than live, right? So it's just it's a pleasure to be on here, man. I appreciate it. Any other time y'all need me back, I'd love to be back. We're gonna take this this Vision Lab podcast. We're gonna put it on a shirt, man. That's done. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna put y'all on the shirt, man. We're gonna put y'all on the sleeves, man. So y'all got TV, bro. It's done.
Tell your brother stop bullshitting.
You can't say that on the podcast.
hey, it's our podcast like it's your shirts, baby. No, It's all
I
love,
love
man.
it.
You know,
I love it.
hey Corey, you know, we got mad love for your brother, Brian.
Yeah,
and,
man.
and his wife, and we know that they're doing amazing things, and we just want to share that with our community. We want to share that with the
Absolutely.
culture. We want to share that with people across the globe, man.
Absolutely.
Visions become reality, man. It's simple if you put in the work, you do the research, and you never give up, man. So thank you so much for being on the show, bro.
Hey, man, thank you. I appreciate it. If I could say one more last word, man, it's never stop chasing your dreams or whatever it is that you want to do. Don't let anybody tell you that you can't do something. And oftentimes we don't write stuff down. I got a lot of papers around me and stuff like that. I'll show you something like this real quick, right? So this is just a quick write down for me, right? So this right here is just a quick roadmap. I've got it written out better and got it written and road mapped out, right? But I can just pick up a piece of papers and show you things. This is my entire roadmap of what I want to do in order for me to get to the PGA Tour, all right? So all I can do is suggest that people write your thoughts down, right? So you can understand where you're going and what you're trying to do, because it can all be up here, but at some point in time, you got to put it in front of you so you can start road mapping. And that's something that Farmers Insurance taught me. I had it right back here on the back of the wall where you see this picture right here. It's called the Roadmap to Success. And it had every single suggestion as far as what you should do, when you should be doing it, how you should be going about it, right? So if everyone had some type of roadmap to success for their roadmap, that's all I can say.
No, there's a saying that said thoughts become things, you know, and I'm not sure who said it, but thoughts become things. And when you write it down, the beautiful thing about putting it on paper is that now your thought became a thing because it's actualized and it is real. It is no longer a thought. It is a real thing. It may not have manifested yet, but it is a real thing. So we've encouraged our listeners, and I think that, you know, starting off season 10, it's important to go back to the basics, you know what I mean, and hone in on that. So if you haven't been riding with us for the last 10 seasons, it's all good. But just remember, thoughts become things, write it down, and then work to achieve your goal. Cory, it's been an honor to have you on the show, my boy.
Thank you, my man. Hey, they're going to start, if they weren't riding now, they're going to ride for the next 10 or 20, man.
Gotta love it. Well, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Ryan Mosley. He is Ryan Cuffey. Thank you again to our guest, Cory Woodard. Cory, appreciate you hopping on. Nice to meet you for the first time. Ladies and gentlemen, it's the beginning of season 10. Thanks again to our new sponsor, Sagamore Spirits. Season 10 is on the way. It's going to be a fun back half of the year, everybody. Y'all just buckle up and get ready. Thanks again, everybody, for listening to another great episode of the Vision Lab podcast. We'll see you guys next week.
Blessings.